Yeah, there's another lovely log again. We were down say Western California. I figure it's the 28th of March 2021. Just why the hell am I up this early in the morning? I don't even ask. Don't even ask me. I'm still trying to figure that crap out already. The last weeks of March are supposed to be the spring break of students. The midpoint in their collegiate education or even public education where they have a week to themselves to go absolutely nuts, or for some of those who have to work their asses off left and right. And for the most part, usually having an end of spring break holiday of Easter sunrise services, or Easter services if they're following that one. Passover works because Passover is Judaism, and they would celebrate the Israelites being passed over uh, by the Lamb of God, basically blood of lamb, actually, marked under lintels, door pieces. Make sure the angel of death doesn't cross over or come into the place to claim them, especially in the night of their exodus from the land of Egypt. The story has been told throughout generations, throughout centuries. It's been told in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and told and retold and reinterpreted many times. And even Hollywood's had its own versions of what is going on. The most famous one I thought it would have been was Ben Hur. No, Charlton Heston. He played Ben Hur, but he also did Moses. Of course, there have been other television adaptations to the thing. Back in the 70s or 80s, there was Ben Kingsley did it. Young Ben Kingsley. I remember watching a 5 or 6 night episode special of CBS doing this, of Moses. And there have been other shows about it on different religious channels, Christian broadcast channels, Trinity Broadcasting, and a few others, would show the interpretations and the differentiations of how the Bible was explaining to people how it happened one way or another. And in dealing with this, it would reinforce and strengthen the Christian belief of death and then rebirth. How Christ was coming into the city of Jerusalem, and a week later finds himself hanging on a cross like a slab of meat. People laughing their asses off, while a few other people crying their asses off. All he was trying to do was bring some hope. Tell people that, don't despair. There's always hope. There's a better kingdom waiting for those who believe. And those who still look at the kingdom on earth as a threat to them, and therefore have to persecute, prosecute, then crucify. I never understood the logic of that. If they had gone in their own damn text so many damn times, the power elite of the religious folk really had to burr up their ass. And then, of course, they had to be hooked up with the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire telling them one way to believe, to keep up their own faith. Everyone trying to cover up their own asses. And then afterwards, when you have the followers of Christ running into situations such as trying to be persecuted and prosecuted and crucified as well, but the message would be brought out. The message would be told again and again and again. And don't lose up hope. Don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. God knows. God loves. Christ was sent down to demonstrate that to us. And yet those of us who keep denying that faith one way or another, we're always coming across to that point of whether or not we actually believe or not until the last second. And personally, for me, I had to go to the afterlife before any of the religious indoctrination. So it scared the hell out of me what was going on. No context, no perspective. Just something I wanted to go back home to the spiritual realm and stay there, but somebody upstairs says, no, you're needed down here. And never knew why afterwards. There was never a clear-cut explanation saying, John, I got a little job for you to do, and you're going to be going through a lot of stuff at this point over here, but in the end, I need you to do this. Because you're going to be affecting a lot of people down the road. Either by action or by words. Or by something. Or just being there for someone. You're going to be an influence. But no, I didn't get that one. I didn't get the memo on it, so. But I did get the memo plenty of times of what the Christ figure was supposed to be. What God was supposed to be. And I'm still scared to death of him. And to this time, I'm still thinking, did I get any of it right? Did I actually get any of the religious doctrine right? From what was taught to me throughout the years, and pick up a little piece here and there from different sermons, and then different memes are out there left and right trying to tell people what's going on. And then talking with other people who are thoroughly and utterly devout, they get themselves so twisted up in a knot, they can't see anything else but the knot, or being knotted. And I got a problem with this. Now, I may have been called like a doubting Thomas, or probably a doubting John at this point over here, since John is my name. But John was also the guy who did baptism and baptized Christ in the river. And also got his ass beheaded as well, just chopped off because somebody didn't like him. No, because they thought he was a threat to their power elite, to their ego, to everything else it represented. But what was taught to me all this time concerning about the religious holidays we're supposed to be holding near and dear to our heart? We were taught that, well, even though they screwed up the calendar system a great deal throughout the centuries, so it really had no clear-cut day or date. Somebody just pegged this one particular day, and that's what we've been celebrating ever since. So, December 25th becomes Christ's birthday, regardless of whatever happens. So, Christ is born. Everybody goes crazy over it, because we start to look forward to April, or the end of March, but usually the first week of April, or, weird enough, second week of April. But it's always in the spring. And this time Christ goes through the transformation. He goes through a transformation to solidify the religious base, to solidify the doctrines and teachings. He's telling people in this one act that if you believe, if you just even have a small amount of faith, small as a grain as a mustard seed. And sometimes I had a problem with that one. I mean, I kept trying to believe, I kept trying to take care of some stuff, but I felt personally maybe I wasn't up to speed. Maybe I wasn't up to specs. Maybe I wasn't what Christ thought I should be or should have been. And then I look at myself these days and I'm wondering, why did I screw my life a big damn deal? Did I help anybody? Did I not help anybody? Did I screw people's lives left and right? And there's a lot of regrets I have. There's a lot of regrets. I tried to make up, but I can't even make those damn things up. So I'm like, screw it. Just pray for them and just get on with life. I'm not dying just yet, but I'm just going through motions at this time of year. Even before Maud died, we tried to get into the feeling and the mood and the spirit of the holiday seasons. And it was hard enough, and David and I had to do it all by ourselves without Ma. Well, now it becomes more and more difficult emotionally at this point. Not of collecting materials to celebrate with, but the attitude and the feelings about it. I haven't had community in a hell of a long while. And I'm overdue on that. I also haven't done any of the Christian practices in a hell of a long time. I gotta be honest about that one too. I've tried to keep up with Christmas and Easter, the two major things I thought are most important to me. A small basket with some grass in it, get some eggs and dye, and hard boil the eggs, roll them over in the dye, and then find some candy to fill up the thing, and then there's your Easter. But it's not just the physical stuff. It's like you get the tree, you decorate the tree, there's your Christmas. I mean, that's what it sounds like basically is here's your animate or actually inanimate object that your religion is based off of. The symbolisms and the symbols become more than what the holiday and the meaning of the holiday is supposed to be, of what it's all what it's all about. We call it resurrection of the Christ on Easter Sunday. But we look forward to more of the candy. We look forward to the chocolates, to the eggs, to the ham, to the potato salad, to the grass-laden baskets, instead of the damn message. And it just doesn't jive. I mean, I keep up with the pretense at this point over here, just as the symbol, just as a token symbol. But the thing of it is, if it's just a token symbol, it's giving God lip service at this point over here. I mean, if you're die hard or you're born again or whatever kind of level you're supposed to be at, if you believe, then the token is just a token. It doesn't mean anything unless you have the heart and soul for it. So even if I actually had something happening here, if I actually had maybe, I don't know, a visitation from someone trying to figure out what the hell's going on with me, am I still following God's commandments at this point over here? Even Christ's commandments at this point over here, I'll probably tell them no. because I have an issue. I've gotten so damn lax. I have gotten so damn lazy of not keeping up with the doctrines, of not keeping up with religion, with not keeping up with my own faith. And what pisses me off is when I see somebody who expresses absolute faith, but then she's following other things that go against the faith. I'm like, sometimes I just gotta say something about it, and I have my mouth shut on this. It's like, I can't say anything about this because I'm not allowed to. I'm not entitled to do that. And therefore I don't. I don't go for biblical prophecies. I don't go for someone else's salesmanship of what they think they're going to be godly, and they have to produce it to people and have everyone else fall head over heels over this so-called prophet. I'm sorry, I don't follow it. So no wonder I stay away. I stay away from everyone else. I have stayed away from everybody else these days. Because I sure as hell didn't. I still don't feel comfortable about it. I know certain churches, they try to make you feel comfortable about it. They try to make you feel warm and welcome, so they would like to keep you coming back. And the thing of it is, if I'm not comfortable in there, if I'm not feeling that I belong there, then I don't. But then again, I get the feeling like everyone else does. No, 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 you have to come back. You have to come back. No, I don't. Unless somebody else is telling me that I have to. I have to want to come back. I have to want to be part of something greater than myself. I have to want, with everything I've got, or every fiber of my being, to be part of something. And if it's not there, it's not there. Then either I'm lacking something or I say that they lack something. But there's something lacked. There's a miscommunication, misconnection, something of a miss. And no clicking. No following. I can't say that I do that for God, though. I have a daily, constant reminder I wear all the time. I'm going to gross people out if I happen to lift up the shirt. Because usually when I'm doing these kind of recordings, I don't embarrass myself or humiliate myself like that. Because no one else does it. But I'm not supposed to do it, am I? Rolls of fat. Alright, somewhere on there. There's supposed to have been a scar from here down here. Covered over by here. You probably can't see it. And with this damn thing here, you can't even see anything. But I don't care, see it. Somewhere in there. There's still a thin line faded right here. Cracked ribs. Said before in my other videos, age of 4 years old, I had to crack open the ribs to get into the heart, open up the heart, repair 3 valves, or try to repair 3 valves, before utterly croak permanent. And I was going to croak anyway if they didn't do the job. 1970. Very risky for a 4-year-old to survive those kind of things, but I did. At least I was told that one anyway for a long time ago and believed it. 1 patch, 1 sewed, and the other one left alone. Because it kept dying on them 3 times. They kept shocking me back to life. Or they kept trying to do something to get me back to life anyway. So, I had to live a careful life afterwards. I had to not not make anything strenuous for myself. Not really do anything hard that might burst a heart or anything. They were really super careful about that. I mean, I could climb a tree if I wanted to, but I had to be very, very careful about it. Of course, running into brick walls or falling out of a treehouse, breaking an elbow in 3 places, getting into a car accident didn't exactly count much. Except I was out of the car accident too. Somebody was still looking out for me during that time. But anyway, medical history for this broken down old fort. Growing up as a kid, oh yeah, it was a real challenge for my mother. But when it came down for religion, when it came down for beliefs, when it came down for understanding what God was supposed to be, it was still dealing with a concept too damn alien for me to understand. I had been to the afterlife. You think I would understand this damn thing, but no, it scared the shit out of me. It literally did. As a young kid growing up, about age of 10 or so, I had my great aunt living with me, my mom, my grandmother, my brother, crammed in a house. And 5 people crammed in a house. Aunt May kept going to the hospital too many damn times. Scared the crap out of me. Got to the point where one Sunday afternoon, I think it was a Sunday during summertime, and Aunt May's back at the hospital again. She's an elderly aunt. I mean, hell, she was in her 70s during that time. She was in her early 70s at that point, and she was frail, thin, gaunt. She was looking like death warmed over half the time anyway, but when I did crack that, I was surprised I actually did that one too, cracked her severe, stern action and her mannerisms. She became a nice lady. We played checkers with each other. We played cards with each other. The last year of her life was a hell of a lot better than it was when she was growing, than I knew her earlier on. And as a kid, I didn't realize what kind of a past she actually had. I was not taught, and I didn't get any information from the family on what Aunt May's life was like a long time ago. So I don't know what kind of hardships had made her into a mean old woman. But the only thing I know is when I crawled up in her lap and grabbed her by the face and said, "I don't care what kind of a mean lady you are, I'll still always love you." And she realized that for a second that she actually had someone who actually cared about her. And I changed her like that. And the story kept getting retold left and right in different interpretations, but I barely remember that anyway as a kid. So here I am one Sunday, and I'm dealing with one of the lay ministers, and I'm praying. I mean, I just attended a little bit of a service over there because I didn't know what the hell to do. The closest church we had, the other church we had was out in North Hollywood. It was a grandiose old place, but it was a good grandiose place. First United Methodist Church in North Hollywood. Grand place, over a century old. But I go over to the community church right across the street from our house anyway, as a kid. Talking with one of the lay ministers, trying to explain to her what's going on. And she's trying to tell me how to accept Christ in my life. A 10 or 11-year-old kid doesn't understand anything about this. No context, no perspective, perception, nothing. But it was always written in the Bible that suffer the children to come unto him. There's a Bible passage in there somewhere about that. We're all children of God. We have to keep looking at ourselves as children of God. We have a problem with that because our own interpretation of God usually clashes with somebody else's interpretation. So naturally, we got to have a war with the situation, don't we? Cain versus Abel all over again. But in this particular church, I'm praying. I'm praying to God. If I understood Him, if I understood anything of it, just don't take me away just yet, please. Please. And I felt calm for a second. I felt at peace. And I don't know, I may have asked Christ to come into my life during that time. And I guess that's how I felt the same presence like I did when I was dead. And it still scared the hell out of me. Because I still didn't have any perception or context on how to put this, my brain would be able to figure this damn thing out. My soul was saying, yeah, I know this. My brain's like, I know this. This is an enemy here. And when your brain and your soul can't get together with each other, you know there's a damn problem there somewhere. Communications. And accepting of this thing. So anyway, here I am walking across the street feeling like I'm lighter than air because I'm thinking God just actually heard my prayer for something. Or did I get suckered into something? But no, I kept thinking God heard my prayer because that may have gotten better for a long while after that. But in 1979, she passed away. Right after my birthday. Once it hit midnight, my 12th birthday, she passes away. Changes a kid's perspective left and right, I'll tell you. Hurts like hell. Especially when you get close to an aunt like that. Very much so. And a few years later, I have a grandmother who is bedridden, stroke-ridden. Mom's doing all she can to take care of her and stressing out like crazy. And David's home. And for one particular week, Ma decides to send me over to YMCA camp. Okay, somewhere in the mountains of San Bernardino, in the Angeles area. There was a camp called 365, run by YMCA Tahunga. These guys don't know about the place because it's all burned down and no more records of the place. But it was a nice area. Very nice. Along the main drag. The area got burned down too many damn times with fires going through the area. So the camp got torched. Everything's gone of it. I could try telling you the exact layout of the whole place. And for about a week, I learned how to shoot, draw more, do a bit of acting, swimming lessons. I needed those, big time. But the day before we left, we were given a sheet, I think about the first or second day, to look over some stuff and to make a decision. Make a decision of if we wanted to accept Christ in our life or not. I'm thinking to myself, oh no, not again. I'm not doing this again. But yeah, I did it again because I thought I needed it. And so I went. There was rituals going on during this time. This is no simple sit down and pray and then you get the energy like I did last time as a young kid. No. They got to put you through this damn ceremony here. Line you up. You got to follow the person in front of you by holding on to them. Stop for a second. Listen to a proverb. Listen to a reading. Go further. Step, stoop, bend, duck. You gotta listen to the counselors directly. You got to listen to them exactly. Because you're putting your faith and trust in someone who's got the eyesight and you're not. You're the blind being led by the one-eyed man, basically. And by the time you reach the clearing, you've already been through at least four or five, uh, 4 or 5 readings of the Bible. And I have no clue what the hell they were, but I know they were in the New Testament. Among the 4 major ones. And here we are in a circle. We sit down carefully. We have a stone right behind us. And then we put the stone right in front of us. And we're supposed to sit there for a minute and contemplate and meditate. For some things didn't actually happen. For me, on the other hand, it's like I get the familiar, I know you. You should know me. Oh boy. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to feel during that time. But I knew that feeling of familiarity. After that, in my own adult life, I've been trying to find it. Trying to go to churches again and try to worship and try to live. But I guess I wasn't doing a very good job at it anyway. Because I never had the feeling or the visitations or anything else like that. Just nothing. Kind of sucked. Anyway, it kind of hurt like hell. And no wonder I had a lot of resentment towards God during that time. I guess maybe I had a lot of resentment and anger towards myself as well. Too much of it. Well, too much of it. I learned how to hate myself even further. One thing led to another. I'm supposed to pray to God. I'm supposed to deal with Him as a large entity, larger than myself, larger than life. I couldn't even give Him the respect for anything, apparently. Not because I wasn't even giving Him or anybody else that kind of level of respect. It's like no wonder He gives about me. But the thing is, when I get hearing from other pastors and preachers and clergymen, laymen, He doesn't give up on His kids that easily enough. I call myself these days a fool and idiot. Why would He deal with a fool and idiot? God never deals with a fool and idiot. God deals with His children. So why would I call myself a fool and idiot if I consider myself a child of God? Then again, I'd be doing a blasphemy or something like that against Him if I'm that way. Well, because I keep thinking I'm a rotten, sorry son of a bitch who doesn't know his ass from a hot rock. That's basically how to put it as such. I mean, if I knew any better, if I really did know any better, man, I wouldn't be a complete sentence on that one. It got to a point in my life sometimes I thought maybe, just maybe in pure madness, writing something about Him and about the angels and how heroic and what kind of agonies they had to go through. And you watch a show concerning about lives being graced by angels. Certainly along the way I got sidetracked and sidelined and screwed up. Something about the show, something about the series rang at me. But worse than that was when I started going after. I started getting off topic and off target. I don't know, a different target. It almost threatened lives and freedoms and civil liberties and God knows what else. There was no way in hell I could have apologized for it. None. I hurt. I could never make amends on that. I wish I could have. I was ordered to stay away, and I do it. I value my freedom. But for a long while, I was a danger, and I was told not to be this way, not to, not to someone who got threatened, and I didn't realize I was threatening this person. But also in the process, I was doing writings about it, not about my making that kind of mistake, but if I was going to be pursuing something about God and angels, that's what I was trying to write about. A lot. A lot. And I thought it was important to me. I still think so. I just haven't showed or demonstrated it to the world, though, unfortunately. I wish I had. It would have been something for people to know and read. But I guess that it was a way I was trying to communicate or try to get in contact with this power. Saying, hey, look, I need help. I mean, it would have been nice to have some angelic help. It would have been nice to have this kind of pathway. It got to the point when I started getting other religious books concerning about how to contact angels or how to research angels or get information about them. Well, call it research for a storyline, but when it comes down for the personal usage, that's a different story altogether. So, getting older these days, it's like I have a hard time talking to the boss man, except try to talk to him like I would talk to my brother. Not exactly with the salty language, but if I had to, I would just hope just maybe God would understand. I would hope just maybe that I wasn't that far gone and I wasn't that forgotten, and just maybe, somebody upstairs would forgive my ass and just, I would hopefully get that connection once more. Because these days I feel like I need it more and more, and I'm not getting it. The physical trappings are one thing, but no, it's what's inside that counts. I can read a hell of a lot of Bible verses left and right, but it doesn't exactly help me very much. You can be book smart about the thing, but it still has to come down to the point where whether or not my barriers have been lowered enough where I'm actually going to get some kind of communication or contact. Where I can start understanding the meanings of what I was missing at this point. I know I'm a fool, I'm an idiot, it goes without saying, but I didn't think God put me back on earth just to be a fool and idiot. Or even at all. He wanted me to learn, be a struggling human being, like everybody else. And if there was something to be done, am I doing it? I don't know. Have I done it? I don't know. Will I know what to do? I don't know that either. I've got no clue, no answers. Sometimes I search for those things, and it's just not easy. And at times I'm just saying, screw it. Just live life. But I can't ignore and I can't put down of any of the things that have mattered to me the most. And that includes the rituals necessary to demonstrate to God of what I believe in, what I think I believe in, and what I hope to believe in is the correct way of worshiping Him and His Son. And if that means doing Christmas trees, and if that means doing the Easter baskets with the eggs, so be it. and understanding that they all have cultural meaning, but they also have a spiritual meaning to them as well. And if I'm not understanding that, then I'm not getting the point. And that's the thing I really need. What do I understand about Easter? Besides the stories being told, there was a story called The Master that has been told for generations. And basically it boils down to when Christ was still walking the earth. And this lady in a village hears that the Master was coming. And she would stop, actually, the Master would stop off at a house for that evening and bless the folks. And possibly stay overnight, which would add more credence, more gravitas or something like that. I'm trying to search for the word for the thing, but more as something to show and prove to the people that she was more worthy than anything else. I looked at it as a damn ego situation at that point, but she prayed like crazy and then worked like crazy to get her place clean and spotless and perfect. And all the while, she kept thinking that the Master was coming to someone else's house. She wanted him to come to her house. And 3 times different versions of him will be coming in, of a person of need of different sorts. A lost person, a person who needed a rest, or food, or injury, or something like that. About 3 times anyway. And at the end of the evening, she's looking at the sunset. And she's despairing at this point. And why she's crying on her bed. It's like, what did she do wrong? Why wasn't the Master there? And he's stroking her a bit on the head, saying, I was here. 3 times I came to your door, and 3 times you turned me away. So you might have lost the blessings I was going to give you, but I forgive you for this one. I forgive you. I have to keep that story in mind. I have to keep that in my head. I also have to keep that story in my heart. I've heard that so many times. When we're living in San Fernando Valley as a young kid, we're living in North Hollywood, and over to Arleta, between, well, in the 70s actually. KTTV did a broadcast of the Hollywood Bowl Easter sunrise services. Several other places would do it as well for all over the world. And along the area, a major walkway between the box seats and the amphitheater seats that they had, the bench seats up above, they would have the cameras. And they would show the box seats and show it forward. And if you did get a chance to see it in person, I'll tell you, it was crazy. It was magnificent. They had right in the center, right in the middle of the stage there, they had the box of the cross right there. They had the Easter lilies outside. They had the fountain going on. But you also had some grandstands inside the stage for choirs to sing. And some of them were kids. Actually, their kids were sitting in the box. They were sitting in the cross box on stage, black rows till the end. And they're singing about Christ was risen. And they're singing Hallelujah, Hallelujah. And then they're taking the robes off, just in one bound. You got white robes. Of course, they have 2 robes because early in the morning it's cold as hell. I mean, it's only about 30s or 40s during that time. And it'd be cold. You had to wear a jacket or keep a blanket with you, but for the most part, the adults would carry a thick coat or a light jacket or something like that, but something to keep them a little bit warm. And I remember keeping my pockets full of chocolate candies because I also got hungry. You need to have some kind of food and nourishment, you gotta tell you. And listening to the music, listening to the choir music, and there was Shirley Jones coming up, and she would do the Masters. She would do the Masters story, and that would definitely get me going. I didn't have the context. I didn't have the, you know, didn't have anything of it. But I'd listened to it quite a few years, and it stuck in me. It stuck with me all these years. And I never forgot it. I even watched her on the television when she was doing it. Not Shirley MacLaine. Shirley Jones. Shirley Jones, Partridge Family. Very famous singer and actress. I was a wonderful singer up on that stage. Of course, you'd be on the side, and she'd be doing it. But if you're watching television, good shot. Bit of a profile shot, but still. And you're watching this. What's going on? It'd be a hell of a time trying to struggle to get up to that Hollywood Bowl, especially with people crowding about, and then there's escalators and elevators, flat area for people to keep pushing their wheelchairs up. They would have sections over there for handicap off to the side, but still pain in the ass to deal with, I'll tell you. But I managed to bring Aunt May and Grandma up those areas. Wheelchairs galore. And then after the service was over, we'd go over to Denny's. That was the Denny's right by Sherman Way and Van Nuys Boulevard. A little further, a little north of the four-way there. We would have our breakfast, or actually our brunch. By the time we got out of there, it was already about 10 o'clock in the morning. Not out of Denny's, but out of the Hollywood Bowl parking because the traffic would be that bad between getting over to the seats to the car and then waiting in the car, trying to get out of the area. The streets blocked up, so was the freeways. My God, it was a mess. But getting over there about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I'll tell you, was crazy. But from the vantage points that we were sitting from, we would actually see the lighted cross before they moved it. Well before they moved it. And we would see on the hill the lighted cross. Of course, it was on public property, and they had controversy over the damn thing, and they had to move it over to a private property, and then there goes the visual landmark all over the damn place. But it'd still be visual over at the Hollywood Bowl, just not everywhere else, including in the freeway. So, but still, and I remember those times. I remember those times as a young kid. Perspective, context. I'd miss sitting in the Hollywood Bowl listening to it because I thought I was getting my spiritualism that way. And at times when I was going over to the church in North Hollywood, I was trying to understand it. I was trying to be part of it, and it felt like I wasn't. I just was shut off from everything. And then maybe I think I shut God off during that time. Hurt like crazy. Hurt like crazy. Anyway, I think I blathered enough anyway about this. Maybe hit sack again. See if I can get some sleep. But I had to get this off my chest. I had to talk about this. I mean, it's coming up on it. I've already spent some cash for it just to get the ham, and if I get some more potatoes or a pint of potato salad somewhere. That's my brother's way of fixing it. Different people have different ways of fixing a potato salad and having it seasoned up a bit. So I have to find my own way or go for a commercial. But to me, ham is ham and eggs. The most important thing to have for Easter for meal. But it was just something of a tradition. That, like watching the Ten Commandments for Passover, or watching Ben-Hur as well. Or my brother watching Jesus Christ Superstar. Or Godspell, for that matter. He gets his little religious fix that way. So, I had to get this off my chest. So, folks don't mind. Sleep time. Yeah, I mean, we are talking about, it's 1:38 in the morning. I don't know, what in God's name am I doing up this early in the morning? I'm still asking myself that question already, so